if you remove Elias Lindholm from this roster, who the fuck is a number one center? And I understand cap space is nice. Guess what you can never find? Number one centers. Like, the hardest thing to get in the NHL is someone that can do Elias Lindholm's job. He's going to cost $8 to $9 million a year at least, depending on what sort of clarity we get on the cap moving forward for that season beyond this one. But I don't know how you can be competitive without him. Is Nazem Kadri at age 34 your number one center? And who's after that? They do not have a number one centerman in the system. It's the hardest and rarest jewel to find. I don't understand how you're good. If you're trying to be bad, I agree. Like, if we're tanking full reload, then yes, get rid of them.
I guess the flip side to that would be, if you decide you're not going to, then you would be trading him, and maybe you get a centerman in return. Maybe you go to free agency and you find somebody. I don't have that answer, but I'm not saying you bring Lindholm back, run him right to the end of next season, and watch him leave for nothing.
No, of course. Yeah, I don't mind the idea of trying to maximize on some of these assets, but I just don't know how this team's competitive without Lindholm. He's the only number one center, and like, they just don't move. Like, if you want number one center, look what the Leafs had to pay to get John Tavares. The type of deal you don't want.
Is he a number one center?
Well, at the time he wasn't. He's not even. But Lindholm, yes,
he's the Flames' number one center.
Here's a better question. Did anything Nazem Kadri show you this year suggest he could be a number one center as he enters his 33, 34, 35, 36-year-old seasons? No. Like, they're nothing without Lindholm. You have to. You almost have to bring him back at whatever number he wants, in a sense, because if the mandate's to be competitive, I don't know how you do it without him. There isn't a number one center in the waiting here. Like, Zari may be a middle six center. May get moved to
Doesn't
wing.
Every time you hear that, though, you have to. They had to give him this. They had to. Don't always those end poorly? That it ends up going poorly. And I don't mean in time. I just mean it never goes the way you want it to. To say that the Flames would be hooped without Elias Lindholm, hard to replace for sure. But in terms of top centerman in the Western Conference, where does he rank? I'm not saying you easily get one of those. I just think you have to.
Yeah, like,
is it this year or last year?
Yeah, last year's pretty high on that list. It wasn't his best year, but he's shown you when you put some skill around him, he can be a especially impactful player, and not just offensively. This isn't the points are there, but he's lazy. Like, he's a 200-foot number one center in this league.
He'd be a
great
number two.
I think he's a number two center on a good team.